Guys, hope you're good. Thanks for tuning in again. It's episode 4 of the Slimming World series. Hopefully you enjoyed the last 3 episodes. If not, make sure you go and watch them. Add it to a playlist on YouTube or Spotify and get it watched. So this question that we're covering today is, what did you think was missing from your Slimming World experience? So, yep, get a pen and notepad as always and get ready to rock. Christy boy, what's happening?
Mate, glad to be back. Take 2.
Good to have you back, mate.
Nah, mate, like I said, the feedback's been amazing for both sets of eyes that we've got on us and eyes for further away. Like we said before, off air, we had a wee chat, like just about how it's been going. And we're not getting much, like, what would you call it?
Feedback?
Constructive feedback as such, because we're being fair and we're being authentic with answers. And I think there's going to be more of that today, mate. Like I say, Chris, I know it's your podcast, mate, but Chris honestly just reads this to me. I've not heard any of this stuff, and I just gave my honest answers. Like last week when I said to you, because I watched the back, and I was like, mate, I don't know how to answer that because it just sounds so stupid. That was genuine how I felt that day, and I still don't have the answers, mate, because reading out like a mush banana is this and a full banana is that, it's just mind-blowing, mate. So
aye, and that's what we'll cover today, mate, because the question is obviously, what did you think was missing from the experience? And the overwhelming response, mate, was, well, the points I'm about to cover before I spoil it. And I guess it's probably the exact opposite of what the answers that they're looking for. What was missing is what we try and promote as coaches. And the big thing's education, mate. So before I dive right into it, I just want to back up what Chris says there about the feedback. Like, some people have reached out and messaged that I've never spoke to, never probably engaged with in my Instagram or my Facebook, who's never inquired for help for our service, which is great because obviously I mentioned episode 1, Chris, a lot of Chris's clients are literally, I've got a lot of Slimming World experience. A lot of mine have as well. I wouldn't say as many as Chris, but even though that's the case, I'd still think we've kind of hit another audience with this, mate. I certainly, from my point of view, it has anyway. There's a lot of people who have messaged me who maybe, and this is their words, but they've looked at it and thought, oh, maybe he only trains people who build muscle. Maybe he trains people, who are, quotes, in shape. Because some people see that and they see a trainer posting transformations of people who are in different body composition stages or different parts of their goals and go, yeah, he trains younger lassies who are really in shape.
Yep.
But I feel that people have reached out to me now that whereas before they might not have, because again, PTs and coaching can be quite scary. It can be quite daunting, which is why I think a lot of people actually go to Slimming World, because it seems more, on the surface, friendlier. It seems more easygoing. It seems more like they're your type of people, when actually we know from the previous episodes that that's actually the downfall, because it's not people who are role models. It's not people who are knowledgeable and demand more from you. So yeah, mate, I just wanted to say that because that's what I've noticed. I've sat back and I've went, right, there's a couple of people who I've never actually heard of, never liked my stuff, they've followed me. And that's the whole point of this series, mate, to try and make an impact to more people.
I think it's good what we've done, mate. And I think it's a double-edged sword in terms of what you said about the reason they might go to Slimming World, first of all, is because the people who run that are a bit more like them. But I think we've got to bridge a gap, and that's what we're probably doing with this podcast, on how people feel about personal trainers, because we probably do look a bit scary. And again, it's probably our fault because sometimes we're posting stuff, it might come across as a wee bit shallow and a wee bit scary. Do you know what I mean? Like, say me doing pull-ups with my tap off or something like that. It's just a bit like, that guy looks like a bit of a dick.
Aye.
But we're not like that at all. 99% of the content is usually other people, isn't it? But we'll put that odd wee post up, probably for some sort of ego boost. I can't imagine why it would be anything else, mate.
No.
Of that old 10 years ago thing, like, if we're in shape, we know how to get them in shape.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So I think bridging that gap, mate, and this is what this shows, that we are just genuine guys who want to help a bigger audience, mate, and not just, like you said, younger females or anybody who needs help, mate.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it's, mate, one of the reasons I started it as well is on the I said this in episode 1, but on the consultation form, the question I asked, what have you tried previously? It's always Slimming World. So I want to dig deeper and go, right, why is there so many people done it? What's the draw to it? What's the benefits to it? And I want to ask the people who have done it. So that's why we're here, mate. Yep. Because it's constantly Slimming World. I'm sure you've lost track of how many times you've heard it, mate, on the phone when you're on sales calls to people. So yeah, that's another reason why. But no, as always, guys, reach out to me or Chris, and if any of the previous episodes have touched home with you, please share, because then we can repost it, we can let people know, and we can make sure that we are steering this in the right direction. There is another episode left, but then there'll be another series after this where I'm sure we can educate you guys. So when we asked people, what did you think was missing from the Slim World experience, the biggest thing that they said, mate, was education on calories. So I'll break this into two sectors. There's no positives here. We'd mentioned in the previous episode about, they kind of helped with portion control. They kind of helped people with a shopping list. They made people buy Slimming World chips and shit like that. So people think that's a positive, so we'll give them that. But in this particular question, the most common thing that popped up, two categories. One was education on calories. The other category was personalising a program and not focusing on other metrics. Right now, metrics is my word. The person actually used no talk of sleep, stress, and exercise, etc. So, again, guys, I want to make sure you are clear that this is people's answers. I can send screenshots. This is no me. I used that word metrics there, so that was my word. But this is all written from. All I do is get the Instagram answers and write it here, so we can get the captions, the bullet points. So, first one, mate, was more education on calories would help, and this is the same as someone else said. So we'll just cover it both. They don't include the fact that food has a caloric value.
Right, so straight away, it's counterproductive to the word Slimming World. If you're going to call something Slimming World, now obviously it's a weight loss course. It's not a fat loss course. It's based solely on weight loss. So not having a calorie number and something and how you're supposed to know, because everybody's body has a specific calorie need for the basal metabolic rate, which is just literally to stay as you are, like body functioning and all that, liver, all the organs, all that kind of stuff. And then you've got, depending on your goals, if your goal is fat loss or muscle gain or anything like that, then it's positive to know what your calorie intake should be so that you can manage it towards that specific goal that you need. So to have something called Slimming World and not have a calorie number and something, I don't get where that can go towards the goal, because how many calories you put in your body every day? If you're just shoveling in category A and category B's all day, so I could just have 4 steaks and 2 chicken breasts and pasta. I don't know the calories. Am I going to get slimmer? Does that make sense?
Yeah, mate.
Is that what we're referring to here?
Aye, mate, exactly that. So I used the example when we actually went to a fair, and I used the example of taking a blind man a walk. You take him at the front door, you take him a walk around the park every day for however many weeks, and then you let the blind man go a walk himself around the park. He's probably going to find the first couple of steps. He might get himself down the first step of the stairs.
Right in the pond.
right in the water with the swans. But he'll walk round a wee bit, and then, it's like you shut your eyes, mate. You lose your bearings. You lose any kind of sense of where you are. And what's he going to do? He's going to phone his carer to come and get him and to actually take him back around the park. And that's what it's like with Slimming World, mate. They're guiding you, or you think they're guiding you, but they're guiding you with no knowledge and education behind it. So when you go solo, you're fucking blind. You're absolutely blind. And that's exactly that when we talk about no actually taking into account the caloric value. Because like you say, category A, category B, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have a value to it. So, and that's the same. And it's even worse that it's not just that they have category A and B, because they also have category A and B, but then they have categories where they just allow you to eat as much as you want, which is even worse than a caloric value. They don't have one.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you can eat as much potatoes as you want, it doesn't have a caloric value.
No.
So that is one of the biggest things that ultimately leads you to go back in the Slimming World cycle, so that you're back there in 5-6 weeks' time. And that's why the last question, which is the next episode, people put it back on and never keep their results. So yeah, mate, that's exactly that. Like, it's hard enough when we are so pro education with our clients. We know they've got busy lives. We know that. So we try and frame and educate our clients around their lifestyle. So it's all right for us to say, oh, he's better to attend my seminar in the gym at 7 o'clock on a Monday night. So I can tell you what a basal metabolic rate is. I can tell you what a carbohydrate is. Instead, we need to fit it around their lifestyle. We need to know when to put the gas down. We need to know when to put the brakes down. Some people don't need the absolute caloric value in foods, mate. They don't. They might not need it yet, but they certainly need it long-term for long-term sustainable results. So it's about picking the right moment to educate the client. So consistently going through the process of, don't worry about what's in food. This is what you're allowed. This is what you're not allowed. This is what you're allowed a lot less of. And that's something that is a major, major problem. And that's why you don't get long-term sustainable results for Slimming World.
Yeah, mate. I think just when you're talking there, it's bringing me back to memories of like when I bring anybody on who's been a previous member of Slimming World, it's almost like trying to educate them the way we do it. It's almost like re-educating them, and the old habits are they're so hard on them, mate. That the sins, and see that word sins on them, mate. It's so ingrained in their memories that when you teach them something, they can't believe it. See, if you say, look, if you want to have like a twirl, fit it into your calories and you'll be fine. They just don't understand it, mate. It's like they can't believe it. And then seeing they start seeing the results, they get back to you and they're like, Chris, I can't believe it. I've had a twirl twice this week. And I'm still, like, my measurements are coming down. My pictures are looking great. Do you know what I mean? So, but I mean, that takes some time. I think that's probably where most of my work comes from at the beginning, is trying to re-educate people on the old habits and turn them into new ones, mate. Because, like they say, old habits die hard. They're that old cliche, but it's so true.
Spot on. I wouldn't even say it's re-educate, because re-educate would insinuate they've been educated. But I get what you mean, mate. Like, totally. It's like you're almost, and this is why we're doing this, to raise awareness. We're not doing this for clients. We're doing it so that, like, the first 4 weeks of mine and Chris's work from someone who's been in the Slimming World, it's amazing. It's amazing what kind of habits people pick up that aren't habits that are hard to obtain. For example, going and walk every day, getting your 8 hours sleep, drinking a lot of water. Those habits take a bit of hard work, consistency to actually implement and stick with long term. What's easy is, what kind of easy habits there is things that are just, don't train, don't exercise. Instead, just like eat all these potatoes. Those are easy habits to install because they're easy.
They don't require much, do they?
Well, they don't require much, exactly. So you're right, mate. That's something I never really thought of, but it's almost picking up the pieces. And unfortunately, in some cases, when people go to a personal trainer, because it is pricey in Slimming World, the trainer's busy trying to sweep up from Slimming World's mess, and the client leaves because of affordability. They maybe not see instant results. They may be addicted to the scales, where the PT's probably getting them on weight training.
Yep.
So there's fluctuations in weight. And unfortunately, the client leaves before the trainer can pick up Slimming World's pieces. So that's a massive, massive thing as well, mate. Let's talk about scale education as well, mate. Or I know you mentioned there, it is a weight loss club. But scale education, and mate, I know we're banging our heads off the wall with this, and we always have done. And you could frame it as, like, only fighters need to worry about their weight. But why do you think it is, mate, that people have got it so in tune? Is it for the olden days where people cared about stones, pounds? Like, why is it so in tuned in people's heads?
Well, what's the biggest thing in Britain for, like, healthcare and that? It's the NHS, isn't it? So I always tell this story because it's true. When me and my ex-wife, hope you're not watching this, we bought a house together. Now you need life insurance now when you've got a house, and they took my BMI, mate, and because I'm like 5'8", and at that point I was 99 kg. The guy says you're morbidly obese, so your life insurance is going to be sky high. But I was in shape. Do you know what I mean? The point, I'm going to be a bit after, but it makes sense because the NHS is where a lot of people get that basic information from, and they go on BMI. So weight loss is such as like, oh, my BMI is too high. But if they're training and lifting weights, and your BMI is going to look like it's high, but BMI is the total wrong metric to look at. Because it doesn't take into account if you've got like muscle definition or anything like that. So I'm technically morbidly obese in the BMI because it's like 32.
I'm obese.
Do you know what I mean? So the point that was there, mate, sorry, when you asked about why is weight such a big thing, I think it's to do with the olden days, but also how these people are just educated for 50, 60 years of the NHS saying your BMI is too high, you need to bring your BMI down. Now, I was talking to somebody earlier. It's always when I do this podcast, I say I was talking to somebody earlier, but I was, and they were saying that she was talking to a friend, and the doctor has recommended that they go on this 900 calorie diet where you just drink these 3 shakes a day. Now, I've never heard of this before, mate. This is my coach I was talking to, saying a friend was getting told by the doctor that a man's going on these 3 milkshake drinks or something.
All right.
You heard of them?
No.
Anyway, it's a 900 calorie diet, mate, for this guy to go on. He's a big guy, mate. So, but I'm like, I don't understand it. And actually, my coach is saying to her, like, you shouldn't do that. But this GP has recommended it, mate.
Seriously?
No, I don't know the background to the guy, if he's got like high blood pressure and all that, but I'm still convinced, mate, that if you take somebody who's like, say, 18, 19 stone and put them 900 calories a day, Surely that's no good.
No.
Anyway, the point I was going after money, mate. The weight thing comes for the education of the British people in the last 50 years, probably through GPs, the NHS, and that basic information they've got, mate. It sounds weird to say that because we're just PTs. We're no GPs. But GP is general practitioner. They know the basic stuff about health and like no health. I don't know what you call it. Like take that medicine for a cough.
Aye.
Take that medicine for a cough. Your BMI is too high. You're overweight. Whereas we know for a fact, mate, I'm no morbidly obese. Morbidly obese to me is like some big guy who's like carrying a lot of body fat.
Yes.
No, a guy who's like just full of muscle mass, like rugby players. Morbidly obese. Do you know what I mean? They're fitness machines. So, sorry, mate, I'm going off again, but it comes to a lack of education in the last 50 years, mate.
Yep.
That weight loss.
And it's filtered down.
Yep.
Because I think with the rise in fitness and the rise in the dream body, or the rise in people actually realising that your mental health and your physical health can be massively helped by physical exercise and actually doing it, which has helped us in our profession. It's helped us as PTs. People talk about the negatives. Oh, so many PTs now, blah, blah, blah. But I've mentioned this before, but we are on the front line. We aren't nutritionists. We know that. We aren't scientists, but we have the tools and the education to offer a lifestyle advice with nutrition and exercise. And some of the horror stories you've heard from when people go to the doctor or the GPs, some of the advice they get given. I'm the same, mate. I'm obese on the BMI thing. I wonder if that's where that's filtered down into weight training is bad for you for the Slimming World. They might have looked at that. They've probably got a secret meeting with fucking Slimming World, the NHS. But I think it has improved. I think all you need to do is think back to your PT course, mate, to the nutrition advice you got as well. That used to be very NHS based. It was like the Eat Well plate and stuff. That's came a long way as well. But I do think if PTs who have spent a lot of time and a lot of efforts learning about nutrition, they are right at the front line to offer nutrition advice, mate. Obviously, you hear horror stories for some PTs that selling Herbalife and all the rest of it, and also maybe pushing their agenda on clients. I get that, and that's just the way of the world. Do you know what I mean? No, everything's perfect. Good cop, bad cop, and all that kind of stuff. So, I think that's probably right, mate. I think that's probably. I just don't get this obsession with scales. I think when you go to the GP and you say something's wrong with you, I think they're very quick to say that you're obese. It's probably that's probably the problem. Yep. And I'm sure we'll cover it in the next wee bit about sleep and stress and stuff. But I think it has got better. I think it's but like I said before in previous episodes, mate, us as PTs, we need to help towards it. We can't contribute towards it in a negative way, because I see it all the time. I see PTs going, my client lost 10 pounds there. And it's like, right, well, what happens when they don't lose 10 pounds? You got to tell them the scale weight doesn't matter. We need to all be singing after the same hymn sheet here. I'm not saying that you need to copy my methods, which isn't the way my clients. It's, if you're going to do that, realise that they're already going in there knowing what weight they are. What's the first thing a client says to you when they sign up? I want to lose 2 stone. They never really say, I want to fucking feel amazing. I want to feel really good naked. I want to wake up and not be out of breath. I want to find something that gives me a thrill and enjoyment in my life. You never really hear that for them. They eventually say it when we educate them and give them tools, but they always come in there and go, I want to lose 2 stone because when I was 18, I was 10 stone. So if you contribute towards that and celebrate, my clients win, you also lost 5 pounds this week. And I know for doing this, and for doing this, mate, for 6, 7, 8 years, that it's not going to swing in roundabouts. It's always going to be more negative than positive when it comes to the scales. So let's think of like you're only having this client for 12 weeks. One of the most important things from you as a trainer should be, right, how do we take their mind away from the scales? For me, my advice would be to stop talking about them, stop talking about the scales. Instead, celebrate other elements, like we're 2 weeks in. Remember when the phone call, when we spoke, when you wanted to sign up here, what you were telling me on the phone? Do you remember you nearly greeting because you told me what the impact of your health's having on the rest of your life? Right, great. The pictures might not be showing massive changes, but there's really good things to focus on here. And remember, you lifted 3 times this week that you've never done before. Yep, cool. I lost 2 pounds, Chris. Amazing, yes. That she's now believes in my service. I can keep this client. You know that's going to be the opposite effect. You probably know that this client steps in the scales every single day. Yep. I know my clients do. I just don't talk about it. See when they send me a text saying, Chris, I lost 3 pounds. I just say, well, I didn't charge you £3. It never came off my account. I mean, like honestly, but so we need to make less of a deal about it, and the satisfaction from the service comes from you highlighting how much this person's achieved in the last couple of weeks that might not to them seem as obvious, but it's obvious to us as a trainer. Because that's mate, we can sit and moan about scale weight and we can sit and say that there's more important things, but we need to show the client. We can't just say scale weight shite, like, and because people want something for their money.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? They want to know that they've.
I think it's deeper than that, man. I think, cause I don't know if you watched my Coaching the Couch with Lassie Laura. It was a full year in NitroFit. She wouldn't mind me saying this, mate. She was, before she joined NitroFit, mate, she was in the darkest of places you can be if you're still alive, right? You can imagine what that means. And she joined NitroFit, and her biggest thing is like, if you watch it, mate, it's she counteracts what she says. She goes against herself because she's going on about like for ages how the scales don't matter, and then through that interview she starts to talk about weight again. It slips back in, even though she knows and she tells all the other members weight doesn't matter. I know for a fact she still weighs herself all the time, and I don't give her a high five when she tells me she's lost a pound or I've only lost half a pound. I don't care.
Yep.
Tell me when your jeans are a size 10 now and you're happy about it, or do you know what I mean? So if you, even the most educated of members, because I'm telling you, she knows everything about how it should be.
Yep.
She tells all the other members about it, but she's still got that deeply ingrained thing about the scales in her, mate. If you watch that interview back, mate, you'll see it.
Yep.
Because all the way through it, I was like myself, she's talking about weight again after just telling
it's
everybody.
hard, mate, isn't it?
And it's not, I'm not slagging her, mate. It's just, I'm just saying she knows that she knows me and her, we chat every day nearly, but I was sitting and thinking to myself, she's gone back to the weight again. After saying, and that's how deep it is, mate. That's how deep it is. And she's one of the most, because she's been there the longest, one of my most educated members.
Yep.
She knows what it's all about.
Yep.
And then I asked her the one biggest thing she at the end that she's learned from NitroFit, and it was calories are king. And I didn't want her to say that, mate. But she can say what she wants, but because it then took me back to again, like that's the most important thing she learned, even though it is all right to say that, and it's a good thing because calories are important, but I thought she was going to say something like, oh, if you have a bad day, make sure you have a good day the next day, but that still relates to me. I don't know, it felt too weight lossy still, if that makes sense.
Because like you say, old habits die hard, mate.
And that's difficult. Laura knows that, mate, but...
And it is difficult as well for personal trainers watching and coaches that if you have focused on that for the last couple of years, it's difficult for you to get away from that. This isn't going to happen overnight. You can't become this anti-scale personal trainer overnight. But guys, you go on my page, and honestly, I'm not even saying this, mate. The last year, 2 years, 3 years, any of the transformations that I posted, mate, I do not know the weight of the clients. I swear to God, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know their weight. I don't have a facility for them to tell me my weight. It's not a check-in form, mate.
Yep.
And I mean that. So if I can do that, which takes time, then you can too. Because if we're all doing that, then we can definitely change the perception of scale weight and the perception of how you can have a successful fat loss phase. Because honestly, like I've mentioned in previous times, it's a podcast for another day, but scale weight can be a very good tool for very, very few people. Proper adherence and all that good stuff. So yeah, mate, perfect. So another one I just wanted to touch on, mate, it's a very quick one, but this lassie actually said that she actually went in with a decent kind of knowledge for fats, protein, carbs, just a very basic knowledge. She knew, she's tracked her calories for a couple of weeks, stuff like that. But she actually went into Slimming World for the accountability and this is her words, the accountability and someone to tell her what to eat.
Yep.
And she actually went in and her knowledge decreased as a result. So she went in and they went, no, we don't do that here. What about macros, fats, carbs, protein? No, we don't do that here. And her actually knowledge went, right, okay, I was about to learn. I thought I was going to learn more, but actually decreased, mate.
Yeah.
Which is...
And again, mate, it comes back to that whole... Because Slimming World's got a big name in the UK, if you show up there you're not that educated, you're going to take in what they say and believe them because they're a big company and there's a lot of trust there. Because if something's all the TV or the media, social media, it becomes most trustworthy. Oh, Slimming World's all the news, Slimming World's all the paper, Slimming World's all on my Facebook. Everybody's talking about Slimming World in these groups. Then they start to trust it more. And then you show up and they start telling you like, oh, these are sins, that's sins. You're like, right, they're sins now. So because of your lack of understanding and your trust of that company, you go in there with an open mind to listen to what they say and then take it all away with you and think you're educated at that point in the right way, but naturally you're not. Like that girl's went a wee bit backwards with it.
Yep.
So what I mean?
Bear
So
in mind you're vulnerable as well and tap it up.
vulnerable, yep. So we spoke about that before, mate. It's going in there vulnerable, looking for somebody to help you, and they're giving you this information, and you're clinging to that information. We hope that that's going to help you change in some way, but it's really not pushing you in the right direction.
Yep, so it's fair to say right now, if you know calories, if you've tracked your food for several weeks, months, do not go to Slim World, because, and that's not me saying don't go so you don't give them money. Your knowledge is better than the consultant's knowledge already. So that's just a fact, because they're going to tell you to delete MyFitnessPal and not track your calories. So anybody who is semi-decent with tracking food, don't go, because why would you go back? Why would you go back on yourself? Fucking devolution. Do you know what I mean? Perfect. That was a very quick one, mate. I just wanted to bring that up because that's interesting. Another point, mate, this is a separate category now, is there was no talk of sleep, stress, exercise, etc. So we mentioned this, I think, episode 2, mate. I spoke about this, where when you go in, you could be, the scale could not have budged. The scale could have been £2 off. The scale could have been £2 over. But there's no platform or scope to talk about sleep, stress, and exercise. And I think the same can be said with personal training and online coaching. If you don't have the platform or the touch point where your client can tell you about sleep, stress, and exercise, or at least the relationship to do that, and all you do is say, right, has your weight changed this week? No. Okay, do you know what you need to fix it? Yes, I guess stick a wee bit with my calories. That can be what coaches and personal trainers do as well, which also can be, if the scale's not budged, or if the scale has budged, yes, the scale has budged. Do you know, okay, you're happy, you're fine.
Yep.
And it's like, well, the scale's not doing £2, but the guy's just fucking got a divorce for his missus. The guy's just been put on furlough. But because your wee check-in system only said, did you lose weight? Yes. The person cracks on. Instead, you've just missed an opportunity to dig deeper, build a relationship with your client, overcome their problems, which in turn is probably going to create a longer relationship and retention with your client. That's me being non-Slim Will's defence. That's me looking at an opportunity to say, if either coaches and personal trainers don't take the opportunity to talk about sleep and stress, but I know the majority, I know they do that through check-in procedures. Slim World, on the other hand, they don't have any scope for that at all. By the sounds of things, you go in, you pay your £5 or your £10, you get stepped on the scale. If you've lost, great, here's your sticker. If you get to your target weight, you don't pay, which in turn means you don't come. Yeah. So we don't need to keep a space for you. Or they get sent to Body Magic, which is what they call an option that allows you to go an extra walk if you want.
Oof.
Yep.
Exercise?
So, aye. Body Magic, they call
Upgraded.
it. Body Magic.
I want to go on one of these walks, mate. See what it's all about. Get a bit of Body Magic going.
So, no talk of sleep, stress, and exercise, mate. What would you think of that?
One word, mate. Stupid, but I'm going to delve into it, right? So, for me, mate, up until the last 2 years ago when I started reading books and sleep, before that, mate, sleep was just sleep to me. You just either sleep or you don't, right? But see the importance of sleep, mate. It is up there with the biggest thing that you could focus on in terms of everything, mental health, physical health. Like, everything, sleep's so important, mate, for stuff you've learned that day. If you don't sleep the right amount of time, that stuff that you learned won't go into the part of the brain, at least for long-term memory. If you don't sleep, now when you used to go out and you boot to like 3 in the morning, and then the next day you'd be starving for like junk food. That's because you've spiked certain hormones because you've not slept long enough, and the hormones crave specific types of foods. Mate, sleep, even without the stress and the exercise, for me, mate, sleep's one of the biggest things. For what I've learned in the last 2 years about sleep, it's humongous, mate. And
which you're then imparting onto your clients.
Imparting onto my clients. And again, at least the stress comes from lack of sleep. You can't exercise if you don't sleep properly. Your body won't recover properly. Your mind won't recover properly. I don't know how much you know about sleep, mate, and I'm not an expert in sleep either, but I have read, in the last 2 years, I've read 4 or 5 quality books, which I don't mind referencing at the end if anybody wants to read them. But I think like people like the guy like Paul, who does this podcast for us, that does therapy, he'll know about that as well, mate. Sleep's massively important, mate. Massively important.
Because it has a knock-on effect of what nutritional choices you make for that day, how you react to life that throws at you that day, how you react to your manager telling you need an extra meeting that day. And that's the stuff that we delve deeper in as coaches. We identify an issue, because what sometimes looks like, for example, a nutrition slip up might look like it's an obvious slip up. Oh, I had biscuits in work because they were getting passed about in work. It's like, right, instead of just looking at that as that's the obvious reason for the slip up, did you have your lunch?
Yep.
No, because last night, man, I had a nightmare. I couldn't get to sleep. I had caffeine at 4 o'clock at night in the afternoon to get me through my last hour at work, which then meant that I was up all night. And because I was up all night, I then had a packet of sweeties, which then led to a juice, chocolate. And then the next day, it had a knock-on effect. So then because I did that on a Tuesday, they were passing biscuits around in work. So I may as well thought, fuck it, I'll start again on Monday. And that's the stuff that Slimming World don't identify. They don't even see the surface one. No. We see the surface and then read between the lines.
Yep.
So, and that's how much an impact sleep has. You know, from a holistic point of view, I don't know a great deal about sleep. I know the basics. I know exactly the effect it can have on nutrition and exercise, energy levels. I know all that, which in turn allows me to offer advice with clients. I sleep like a log at night. I'm never up I get up at 4:45 in the morning, so by 9:30 I'm in my bed. Whereas some people are just night hawks. But if they're performing, if they're better that way, happy days. But yeah, sleep's massive, and to overlook that element, which is what Slimming World do, is a massive, massive drawback from their service. Stress.
Again, mate, like you just said there, you give just one scenario about passing biscuits about work. There's probably 100 million scenarios, mate. Like sleep and stress. A stressed person, you could use that exact example on the biscuits, because what do we do when we feel a bit stressed? People turn to junk food, alcohol, do you know what I mean? Drugs. Like stress can lead to a lot of like issues for people.
Yep.
Say they've got I know people with really stressful jobs, mate, and if they don't exercise properly, they don't sleep properly, it can lead to so many bad like scenarios like the one you just gave, or worse. So for me, mate, the sleep and stress, they come together. I think if you're sleeping good, you're more likely to be less stressed. But if you've got a high stress job, or you've got a family of 5 kids and you're like a single mum, stress is going to be there all the time. So if you don't, like we're going to say, if you don't manage that with tools and systems, because that's what we offer, we'll go, look, because everybody's been stressed at some point, but what Slimming World wouldn't do is go, why don't we try one of these 3 things here that might be able to help you when you're stressed, might make you make better decisions, bring your blood pressure down, and ultimately to just a healthier person.
Yep. Because, mate, it's above their pay grade. Stress isn't something that they signed up for to help you with. You go in, you step on the scale, you're either up or down, and then they follow their procedure based on that. So if you're down, great, happy days. Here's a badge, up the road. And what you've not been able to do there is talk about your stress and actually get it off your chest, and just, or if you're even worse, if you're actually, your weight doesn't change, you've had a stressful day with your job, you know, your Wayne's playing up at school, the school's phoned you and said, he's did this, he's did that. You then go to your Slimming World Club, step on the scale, it's no change. You get some mad consultant turn around and go like that to you. Why have you not changed? Why have you not changed weight? And that's the fucking tipping point. You know, I'm surprised there's not been Berkeys in there, like full scale Rammies. But instead it's like stress, right? So again, it's that whole, as coaches, we know how to put the foot down, or we know how to put the brake on in terms of what we offer our clients and advice, and right, fucking get that done. Or do you know what? Why don't we back off a wee bit? Why don't we add the calories back up? Why don't we take some, stress off? Why don't we go down to 3 days of training? Stress is one of those things, mate, and it could not be more relevant right now, which is a fucking global pandemic, where we know how stressed people are. A lot of them can't go and see their loved ones. Yeah, it might sound like it's an ideal life, but some can't go on holiday. They can't go. The people are worried that they might not even get to spend Christmas with their family members who are further up in the country or further down the country. So stress right now couldn't be more like a hot topic. So to go in on a Slimming World Club and not be able to relieve that stress, guess what? Spoiler alert, you can't train and weight train to relieve the stress either, because they don't want you to, which we'll come to in a second. But stress and overcoming stress and helping someone overcome stress, sometimes it's just an ear they need. I am by no means an expert on managing stress. I'm quite young. I've got my own gym. Stress comes in forms of, right, I need to fit other clients in. I've got a lot of overheads, but that's stress that I'm able to manage my state because I'm educated on sleep. I'm educated on stress. and I read and I listen to things that's going to help manage my state. And if you're not having somebody in your corner that helps you manage your state, or even just if you don't have anybody in your corner that's an ear to listen to. So, for example, you put up on the Facebook group, guys, how are we all feeling today? It's midweek. Talk to me. Oh, do you know what? Monday, Tuesday been a write-off, Chris. I'm just putting it here for accountability. I know what I need today. It's just they pulled me in a meeting, which meant I couldn't train Monday night. Tuesday, I woke up, or I didn't take the chicken out to defrost, so I ended up getting a takeaway. But do you know what? It's Wednesday morning. It's a new day. I'm putting it in here. So the group, I'm accountable to the group. I'm accountable to you, and the rest of the day soldiers on. No worries, Chris. Do you know what today? Give me a wee message later. Make sure everything's all right. Or we take it private and we go, everything all right? Yep, it's fine, Chris. Honestly, I just need, do you know what today? See the night, I'll send you a picture of the barbell or the cardio kit to make sure I've went. Great. Chris, 6:30 at night comes. Do you know what? Feel loads better. Monday, Tuesday. 2 bad days, didn't turn into 7. Thanks for that wee bit of accountability in the middle. And that's how you just take a situation from just having a platform where you ask people, how are you? And it's no one in, one out, step on the scale, see you later. It's coaching. It's proper coaching. And sometimes that's all people need. They don't need some mad sleep technique. They don't need like therapy. In some cases, they just need, right, how are you today? Do you want me to tell you? Yep. Okay. Right. Okay. We move on for it. Or here's my advice. Right. That sounds good, Chris. I just needed to hear that today. How many times do we date, mate? We date every day with clients.
And do you know the thing is, mate, when you're talking to them, imagining people that I know, right, who's told me that, who gets the worst of that person? The family when they go home. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? If that guy or female, they go back home and they're all stressed out after work, they've no trained, been to Slimming World, they've put on an extra £2, who gets it? They either go home and they're super quiet and don't talk to anybody, or they go home in a pure stress mood and they're nipping away at people.
Yep.
So say you've got 3 kids and you're going doing that, right? And they're just seeing you in that mood all the time, you free them. Then they're getting into school and getting into trouble all the time. That sounds pure dramatic, right? But I'm talking from an angle that I know what I'm talking about because I've seen it happening before. So I'm not just making that up. You don't know, like when we help somebody or when Slimming World don't help somebody, you don't know the scale of how far that goes in people's lives, mate. And I think that's something that PTs don't even appreciate for themselves.
Yeah.
If you help that one person, you don't know how far that goes beyond that one person, like the family and the friends. Do you know what I mean? Because usually a lot of the females that we have over in our gym, their husbands start learning for them. And then before you know it, you've got a wee gang of people all like working and the family's getting better. The relationship's the best it's ever been.
Yep.
We're happier than we've ever been. Do you know what I mean? Because I've never found the right sort of like coaching and education to go forward.
Aye. No, spot on, mate. It's a big one because I can't imagine now. I can't get my head around now me helping somebody without them sharing and expressing their concerns in terms of their physical stress or mental stress. I can't imagine not being able to help somebody with that. I wouldn't get anywhere near the results that we get here. And like you say, mate, that's an interesting one there because I would say, and you've been doing this long enough to know that as a coach, sometimes you're that impartial ear or that impartial opinion. So, for example, if somebody's got a problem at home, they can't talk to their sister or their brother about it because it's too close-knit. And sometimes they just come into their session and go, okay, I just feel this way. I just feel that way. Or I'm just not sure about us buying a house. I'm just not sure about us doing this, doing that. And sometimes they're not looking for an answer or an opinion. They're just looking for somebody to listen that isn't going to go back to them and tell them. It could be a family member. It could be a kid. It could be anything. And that builds up really, really special bonds to the point where there's trust there. There's an environment where you feel safe to tell people stuff that you can't tell other people. And it just has this real bubble that you create in your gym or as a group, a tight-knit community, which I can't imagine no having. So to not have that, it's just, you're not going to overcome a lot of problems. And like Chris said, the deep-rooted problems are never even getting touched because all you're doing is focusing on surface problems. Like I'm 12 stone, I'm 14 stone, I'm 16 stone, let's get that stone done. That's the surface. It's all the root stuff that we want to rip out, and it gives us work today. But it's what that we welcome, and it's what we're used to doing, mate.
It's
enjoyable as well. Deep-rooted shit.
If you're not, mate, in my eyes, if I'm not helping people, mate, I'm the use. I like to, it's probably a selfish thing, mate. There's usually when you help people, it is like you feel good about it as well. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in lying. That's not why I got, but I don't go, I want to help people because I feel good. But when you help enough people and it reflects back, you sit for a wee minute and go, do you know what? I actually feel good about it.
Love it, mate.
It's brilliant. And that makes you want to drive on to help even more people, mate. And that's, again, the knock-on effect for that just gets bigger and bigger.
Aye.
To the point now where we've both got gyms who we can help X amount of people who can then go and help another X amount of people. And you don't know where that's going to go.
Aye, it's like a selfless good deed. Like, mate, I don't know what it is, right? Either I genuinely 100% love helping people, but it's probably 50-50, right? But I also like showing off to help them. So when somebody asks a question, I like to give them the answer. And I don't know, and I'm like I feel good after it, but I also feel good that I've helped them 100%. And the messages that clients send, you'll never get sicky. Like, we went through, Cheryl had like a glance at the check-ins today, and some of the messages are just like that. Like, you don't believe you're a PT or coach. Cheryl's quite new to it, so for her it's quite fresh. But even me doing it for so long, I still don't get used to it. I'm like, it's just life-changing, mate. It really is.
Whatever it is, mate, think about it this way. Like, do you honestly believe you could do this job if you didn't genuinely care?
No.
Think about it, mate, because you're getting a lot of problems. The amount of conversations I've had with my members in the last year, like daily, some people need it daily and some people just need it now and again. But no matter how much they pay you, and they pay Slim World a $5 and they pay you X amount of money, it doesn't matter, mate, because at the end of the day, if you don't care about it, you would never be able to date to that ability. Like, I know if I didn't genuinely care about helping people, mate, I would be doing something else. Do you know what I mean? Aye. Because people go, oh, you've got your own gym and all this and all that, but I know people who make up to 100 grand a year in a job that's no their company, and they're stressed out or nuts and they hate it, mate. But they're in a cycle. So money's no everything. Like, we wouldn't be doing this, mate, if we didn't love helping people. It's a genuine care. Yep. That's what when you first met me, that's what you noticed. Remember? Yep. Was that I cared about people. Aye. I didn't have massive skills or anything. No. I wasn't the best trainer. My skill set was probably like a 0 to 10. If 10 was like the best it could ever be, I was probably like a 2. Aye. But I was trying to get better, but I was just new. But my care was like a 10. Aye. No matter what level of skill I was at, I was always trying my best to help people and genuinely caring. And that stuck, and that's probably why I'm sitting here with my own gym and people look up to me.
That's exactly why, mate. And that's exactly why the first time I seen you training people, it was the first thing I went, right, that works. And that's why we're the busiest, mate. It wasn't today knowing where the bicep inserts and the fucking lats and all that. It was, right, I know your name, I know your dog's name, I know how you feel, I know you're struggling with this, I know you're struggling with that, I know your insecurities because I've asked and I've gave the opportunity to tell me. And that's when I went, right, that's exactly what I need to do. So that's what we did, mate. And that's why we're here with this platform, able to help you listening and watching. So, I mean, obviously the other one there was no talk of sleep, stress and exercise. We've covered the exercise element, so we know that there's no talk of weight training. There is the odd walk and stuff that they recommend every now and again for people. They're probably going to get a lot of heat after this series as well, so they're going to have to figure out something. But no doubt they'll have some mad meeting. No, off the back of this series, it's not that powerful, but they might. But they're going to have to come up with some sort of plan of how they advise exercise, which is very interesting because, again, you definitely need a qualification for that. And it'll be interesting to see the way they go about it, because it's not going to be weight training unless there ends up fucking Slim and World gyms opening up all the place, which will be interesting. So the last one, mate, and it's something, again, I think is overlooked, and I think people who do Slim and World, they don't actually sit there and go and realise exactly what it is. So I tried to explain this in episode 3, mate, and I'll try and explain better, and after it you can try and explain better than me, mate. And it's just understanding Slim and World's business model, right? So the person said here, you know, what do you think was missing? Personal programming to ensure it's not a one-size-fits-all. So let's look at it from an outside, right? Let's take away coaching, let's take away Slim World and go, right, what is it you're looking to sign up to? Right, Slim and World, right, okay, so what do you get? And I mentioned this before, but you get a book, you write your name in the book, okay, your book's personalised. You don't get given calories, we don't know about your history, we don't know what medication you're on, we don't know what you've tried in the past, we don't even know your experience with training or your muscle mass or nothing like that.
Don't know fucking anything, mate.
Don't know anything. And yet, you've just signed up along with all those other people where you could show up with a wig and pretend you're Senga, and you'd get weighed like Senga. So if any of our clients come in here, they couldn't pretend they're somebody else because we know their name, we know their calories, we know their before photos, we know their job, we know exactly what they're there for, we know their goals that are unique to them. So do you get what I mean, mate? So people need to look at it and go, right, I need something to fit around my lifestyle, my family situation, my work, my commute to work, everything that I need, everything's a problem right now that needs fixed. I need a diet or nutrition protocol and an exercise plan that fits around my lifestyle, me, this individual. Slimming World don't offer that.
Nah,
Did I explain that right?
No, it made total sense to me, mate. But you're basically just said there is like, how can a big group of 50 women all go into the same building and get the same treatment? And what happens when they leave?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if, because nobody will have a mirrored life, like Senga and her sister, even if we're twins, would have different lives, because you might have 2 kids, she's got none kids, she's going through a divorce, she has to sell her house, do you know what I mean? She's got a stressful job, the other one doesn't even have a job. So, in a sense, mate, Slim will take none of your lifestyle into account at all, apart from stepping on the scales.
So they assume that, right, so sleep.
Yep.
Do they have some mad secret layer that they all sleep the exact same on a drip and all that?
You vampires, not.
Aye, so sleep they don't take into account. We know that, right? So they don't take into account sleep. As 50 individuals, we don't ask you your sleep. So we assume we all sleep the same way, the same amount of hours. Stress, we assume that you've all got the same job.
Yep.
Like you said, somebody's going through a divorce, somebody's no, somebody's just had a promotion, so they feel really good, so they can adhere to things better. So what happens there then? Like, is everybody the same person? So if you're prepared to look, if you're thinking about joining Slimming World, are you prepared to be another duplicate of somebody else?
Just another number.
That's what it is.
But they don't even understand that, mate. And that's good why we're talking about it. They don't understand that that's what they're walking into.
Yep.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be walking into it.
Yep.
But again, that's where we need to come in and educate people, mate. Even if there's many people, even if they don't come and talk to us, mate, if we get this message across, then it's beneficial for them.
So tell me, mate, right, when you come into a Slimming World club, you go in, you get your book, you write your name on it, you give your target weight, we know your name,
yep,
and you come every Tuesday, right? That's Slimming World. What happens at NitroFit?
Right, so we've got the gym, so we see people, well, for the sign-up process.
Chris, here's the money, I'm ready to start my 90 days.
Right, so we get a form sent in, and that form's just questions today with why they want to join.
What questions, mate? Like, be detailed.
All right, be detailed. So what they've tried before, so I can understand where they've been and what support I can give them, what they're looking to achieve, why they feel the way they feel. I'm basically trying to look at everything to do with their lifestyle, mate, so that I can make it as specific as possible for that individual. Because like we said, totally different world for me. Even me and your lives are totally different, mate. So we couldn't give each other the same advice on how to deal with our life. So a form first of all, mate, and then a phone call. And on that phone call again, I'm just digging in deeper on the stuff they've taught me to make sure 2 things: that first of all, that they are a fit for what we're delivering as well, mate. Because if they're not going to, if I think they're just going to come in and be like a Slimming World person, they don't want to change or not to change. I don't want to waste their time and their money or my time either, if I think I can't help the person. So on that phone call, I'm making sure that, is this person open to changing? Is this person open to education? Is this person, and can I help them? Do you know what I mean? So basically what we're trying to do, mate, is figure out everything about this person, what they've tried before, what kind of worked for them, and what could work well for them going forward, and what was just totally dire for them. Does that make sense?
Yep. And then what happens? So they come on board. Did they get a plan? Did they get?
Oh, aye, mate. So everybody gets they get their individual carries set and all that. I'll find out about all the nutritional needs. Like, have they got intolerances, and if they got help with their anything to do with food at all, like their protein, why protein's important for them.
Yep.
Bad habits. So they say to me, I've got a really bad habit for snacking. We know what helps that, mate.
Yep.
If the protein intake's a bit higher than it's used to be, because it's probably like 50 grams of that, then they're not going to feel as hungry during the day. So we've got all the wee tools in my bag to say, look, the reason you're probably snacking all the time is you've got a bad habit with snacking. First of all, it's because you're hungry, because you're probably not taking enough protein in and you're not full.
Yep.
So obviously you're going to be snacking. Just wee things like that, mate. And then obviously past injuries, and then programming wise, like, what is this person looking to achieve?
Yep.
How do we program that for them? How do we get them the body they're looking for? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So then you start tailoring everything to suit that person, mate, and what they need going forward. And that's when you see all different body shapes all changing to be what they want to be.
Yep.
We do a 90-day action meeting with them as well. So I usually, to be fair, mate, I was going to do that at the beginning, but I usually give them a wee week to settle in, so I don't want to just bombard them with stuff. I let them come and train a wee bit and get used to the community and the feeling. And then I'll have a wee action meeting with them, mate. I'll sit them down in front of me. Again, it's a separate form, and it's goal setting. So what would you like to achieve? The first goal was like just a nice simple one, like drink more water, because I'm not drinking any water. And then it could be like, let's go for a longer term one. Like, to feel good in myself again, right? What does that mean? What is feel good in yourself again? Explain why you don't feel good. That question's quite hard, because what it can do, mate, is break them down a wee bit and make them feel a bit upset. But if they don't go through that, then how can you move them forward? You need to find out why they're not feeling good at themselves. That makes sense?
Aye.
And then that 90-day action plan, you're basically just putting an action plan together for that 12 weeks, so that week on week you can keep track and say, how are you getting on with your action plan? If you manage to drink more water that day, more water this, do you know what I mean?
Yep, aye.
So it's just that it's really, really specific, individual, everything they need, and how we can support them every week going forward, mate, so that they don't fall off the wagon.
Yep. And then check-ins,
mate,
to tell you how the week's been.
Every
basically.
single week, mate, they get checked in with. Every week. Like, I can guarantee there's not a member who doesn't get a conversation with myself or Josh every week, mate.
Yep.
Maybe even twice a week. But I guarantee it'll be every week. And they know they can message us at any time.
Aye,
as
it's
well,
they're
mate.
available.
I always say to them, like, guys, you know this is an open. You can message me anytime. But if you don't need me, cool. If you need me every day, if that's what it takes at the beginning, then talk to me every day until we can fix it.
Yep.
Like I was saying about the last L'Oreal, mate, like for the first 6 months of her experience, I'm not joking, mate, and it probably was a bit of hand holding, but that's what she needed, mate, because like I said, like, I'm no therapist, but this lassie was in the darkest of places, mate, and pretty much saved her from destruction, mate.
Powerful, mate.
And she needed that, mate, she did. So I can't hand hold 160 people.
No.
But I had to look at her and say, she needs this. She needs that everyday chat, do you know what I mean? And now she doesn't need me. I hardly talk to her, mate, like, not as much as I used to.
Yep.
I see her every day, I see her at training, but I don't get that text message off her every day saying, oh, I'm back to this, or I'm drinking again, or do you know what I mean? So
it's powerful, mate.
it's good, mate. It's helpful, but like I say, I'm not a therapist. I can only offer advice that I think that she needs at the time that's not going to put her in any more danger, mate.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And it works, mate. And it might not, there might be 100 Laura's and it might only work 10 times. I don't know, but right now it's working. So aye, so check-ins all the time, mate. Why would you know what to check in with? Why would you know what to make sure that somebody who signed up with you and you made them a promise that working together, because it is a together thing, mate. It's not just us. Do you know what I mean? If they don't want it, we can't change them.
Yep.
So how do you make sure that process is so tight that 9 times out of 10 with the members you've got, they're going to get somewhere?
Yep.
Because people fall off, mate. There's no point in sitting here and thinking we're the dog's balls and we can change every single person. Some people aren't ready to change. Some people are just in a really bad place, mate, and they need something else at that time that might not involve training. It might be therapy, it might be something else, but they fall through the net, mate. You can't save everybody.
No, I know. But just by asking questions about your sleep and about your stress, we can narrow the margins, mate.
That's it.
We can narrow the margins for sure. So cool, mate. That is us. Anything else you want to add?
No, I love that, mate. Like I say, I only asked you this morning what the question was going to be, and you showed me the question. You said the question will be, what's the question again?
What did you see? What did you think was missing from the Slimworld experience?
That's the question you said this morning to me. And I thought you were talking about me and you and the Slimworld thing. So I was going to answer back and I went, no, that must be the question. And I never asked you anything else. So I like the fact that I come here and you ask that. I mean, I just give you my genuine response. Some people might be thinking, well, that guy talks a lot of shite. Some people might go, that guy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because you know everybody's cup of tea all the time.
People have fed back that they like getting riled up a wee bit about it, because
I can't help myself, mate.
Well, that's it, but that's how
it's
you
because
feel
I care,
about
mate. Do you know what I mean? I actually genuinely care, and I'm like I say, I don't want to sit here and say Slimworld's shite and that. I'm just giving you my genuine feeling on it. And last week was like, I knew a wee bit about Slimworld, but seeing you reading that book out, mate, that was a moment in my life where I was just thinking, like, myself, that's fucked up.
Aye.
And it is, mate. I've been thinking about it ever since, mate.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up, man. Ever since that, mate, I've just been thinking, how can you feed that? How can you feed that information to somebody?
Yep. You get away with it in such a big scale as well, mate.
But it comes down to vulnerabilities again, mate. It's like we're saying, for the last 2,000 years, mate, people have been getting fed information and beliefs and that, and some people love it and some people don't, and that's it. It's the same with us, but we just do our best, mate, to try and no Slimworld bash, but give you what we believe based on current fact and the amount of people we train and the amount of results we get, what we believe works.
Oh, mate, 100%. And listen, see, the thing is, we're entitled to an opinion. It's like if I was to come out here and do a McDonald's series and just say that they shouldn't be opening McDonald's everywhere, it's absolutely shocking. They shouldn't be so available. That's why people are obese. Like, it's my opinion, but because Slimming World is this thing where people talk about, it's slandering a business. It's again, mate, it's the year of the snowflake, isn't it? So people don't like when you disagree with something. It's like, you can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts.
Yep.
Like, opinions are, it's your opinion, mate, you're allowed it.
Aye.
But facts are facts.
That's
and
it.
we know that the way they work their model, a lot of them aren't facts, and if anything, they're actually causing more harm than good, which is why we're sitting here today. So, guys, as always, thanks very much for watching. I know that you've got busy lifestyles, but hopefully you took 1, 2, 3 things from this. If you did, let us know, please. And as always, give it a share in your stories, tagging me and Chris. And thanks for coming, mate, again.
Cheers, buddy. See you next week.
See you next week, guys. Cheers.